And if you want, you can go ahead and start this thing. I want you to tell me, Muso-Ka, sitting on this train cart, the hard wooden seat below her, feeling like it's starting to chafe into the back of her legs, feeling this rumble beneath her, seeing that dead forest disappear in this ever present gray murk underneath the raised pylons of the train. What is she doing with herself? What is she thinking? What is her expression?
So there's two other observers, correct?
I think there are actually three in this cart.
Three.
No,
Well,
four,
including four. So including
including Suboko.
Suboko, right? Uh, so here's the thing. I think I would want to. Uh, I think she would want to ask Suboko. We should fill them in on what's happening too. The other observers.
On on Changok,
Yes,
on this shard.
obviously not what we discussed uh, just before, but more so. Well, if Osu is going to weaken Changok in any capacity, she needs to be ready for him. And so do
She
the observers.
gives a nod to this, stands up, addresses the others. She goes over in kind of broad strokes what you've told her, what Changok is doing, but she sounds like she has a little bit less conviction as she says it now before these three other observers. And she ends this saying, I know this may not be the most reliable information. I know that we are taking a shot in the dark here, taking on the phantom courts when there is such a clear and present danger elsewhere. When we arrive, I'm going to send a train down south, see how many extras they can divert, but I fully anticipate we'll be working with a smaller team at the courts. Fortunately, though, we still have the guards, we still have the natural defenses. Perhaps it's nothing, but I believe it may be worth preparing for this contingency. One of them pipes up, putting an awful lot of stock in the words of this outsider. What would the first observer say? What would the first observer advise you? Well, none of us are the first observer. I am. I have the most senior rank here. For now, I am determining that the prisoner will be allowed to walk free to advise us as she can. Bear in mind, she is heavily outnumbered. Should she turn against us, it will be a trivial matter to subdue her.
Muso-Ka in the background is kind of like nodding, like, "Yep, you all could probably kick my ass easily."
She comes back, sits down by you, and you can't see her face, but there's through that mask, the robes, something tense in her body language. I'm trusting you, Mizu. You realize this, don't you?
I know you're putting an unquestionably generous amount of trust in me, but I swear, I am who I say I am. I'm part of the Yingluo, and my main priority is to make sure that Changok himself doesn't get the shard. Whether that means Osu keeps it, whether that means we have to take it, anything. As long as Changok doesn't get his grubby hands on that shard.
She gives a nod, and as the train rattles and begins to descend a bit, you, for the first time, come into the view of the Phantom Courts. The complex is sprawling. It appears as if a small mountain was cratered out, excavated out of the center, and was turned into this complex of different buildings and courtyards and some towers. As you come closer to along the track, which now is venturing closer to the ground for the first time, is not raised, you can see a little bit more clearly how much of it appears to be in disarray, how many of these towers look like they're crumbling, uninhabited, how many even appear as if they were only partially ever carved out of the side of this, what looks like a hollowed out mountain. Uh, the architecture itself all around this, it has just this heavy, immense, almost oppressive feel. These great geometric blocks, these square towers, these heavy facades. Occasionally, you see carved into these uh, faces, features, some of them looking more like chimera with these almost lion like faces and these wings and claws, but some of them appearing much closer to those weathered columns you saw around the rift, having this reptilian aspect to them. The shoreliner itself now has descended, and you see you're in this wide, sort of squared off channel. It looks almost uh, like when you see a big industrial storm runoff. It's almost like that, no adornment whatsoever. And you can actually see that there is a bit of what looks like stagnant water pooled in the bottom of it. Um, you pass under this arch that looks like it's this carved serpent, this great sea serpent that's kind of coiling around itself, almost like an Ouroboros. And to the sides of it, over what looks like it must have once been a more elaborate pool, but now is mostly empty, the figure of this siren holding a shell, and it looks like probably at one point it would have been a fountain, like water would have come out of it.
Right.
So you pass this, train comes to a stop, slows down at this station where you can see that there is clearly a newer, more hastily constructed wooden platform, and there's a variety of what look like kind of metal Quonset huts, sort of makeshift warehouses and crates and things around. As you are ushered out of the train, you look up and you can see there is this darkness in the sky. You're not sure if it's a storm coming in or what, but it's very dark over the courts.
It's strangely beautiful here. It's sad that everything's.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, do you hear me? Hello? No.
Oh, okay. Think I can hear you now.
Hello? You hear me now?
All right, beautiful, beautiful.
Oh
Sorry about
man.
that.
Yeah, can I just say something? As we okay? Okay. Yeah, she was saying, wow, it's strangely beautiful here. It's it's sad that Kanto is, well, blocked off for the rest of the world. This would be a amazing tourist site.
The courts. I suppose I've grown so used to them, I don't think of them that way. Uh, you begin kind of walking and talking, walking quickly abreast of these two
Oh yeah.
observers, one nameless on your right and Suboko on your left. This place is actually, we believe, one of the oldest structures in the Wushankos, though it's been built and rebuilt many times by the Chimera, by the Skethic, by Hanma House.
Goes way back. Wait though, you said Hama House. I thought they were your enemy.
This was this was a home to them. At least we believe so, but in the distant past, literally thousands of years ago, like at the same time that the Chimera Empire was just starting elsewhere in the Wushankos.
And what of them today?
She kind of looks at her other companions, sort of places a hand on your shoulder and allows the two of you to walk a little bit apart from them. She calls back over, I want you to check in with all the guards, check in with all of the artillery, make sure everything is in top condition, get guards posted everywhere on the outside balustrades. And then when it's sort of just the two of you, or just you in earshot, he says, most have not concerned themselves terrifically with that part of the history. They're more interested in the Skethic era, in the legacy of Sliskay or Drakkar.
So scary. Sorry, go on. Right. Uh, is it a sensitive topic?
It's not sensitive, but a conversation I would not want to have be seen by my compatriots. At least not at this moment. There's already enough suspicion around you.
Right. You know, I should. I'm sorry. My curiosity was getting over me. I shouldn't be asking these questions. We're kind of in the middle of a horrible raid.
No. Right now, I want to check on the atrium. Keep walking with me.
Yes.
I can I can enlighten you a little bit on the way. Keep walking with her, and as you do, you can get a much clearer sense of sort of how chaotically, how haphazard this place uh, was put together. You can see there regularly these wide, crumbling courtyards with these channels, broad and completely unadorned, similarly to the one you came in on. Uh, they seem to crisscross all around it without much logic to their layout. You pass underneath these walls that are partially decayed into yet another courtyard. Uh, and eventually you pass this long walk where you can see there is this weathered but still visible mural, sort of a bas relief. And she begins talking. I admit that I was not completely in favor of the swift judicial process afforded to M. He was the final person executed at the Draka Green today. I'm not sure if you were there to witness.
Oh, right. That
But
Westerner.
yes, that's right, the Westerner. Suppose I had something of a rapport with him. He was the one who really delved more deeply into this place's history. I couldn't deny an interest in it. You can see here, this relief was, we believe, mostly carved by the sirens who helped build this place, but carved on top of an older Skethic mural.
Did they overtake the Skethic or something like that?
It's all so buried in history and layers, it's impossible to know for sure. What we believe is that, at one point, originally, this was the home place of the Skethic. Have you seen the rock-clinging sea lizards around the coast? We call them Nether. We believe that they're actually an evolutionary offshoot, much more primitive, obviously, but of these reptilian people, these sorcerers.
I
They were
see.
led by someone named Draco, but eventually this Sliskay grew to take on, to control their society, and somehow led them to ruin.
Interesting. And hmm, the Hama House, is that how you say it? Out of character?
Yeah, Hanma House.
Hanma House. And this Hanma House, did they were they some kind of a warring faction that took over? Were they some part of their society that live together? They sound like sirens.
They were. And she gestures to this part of the mural, this very long mural you're walking past, that shows actually this group of stylized sirens. You notice with ears quite a bit longer than yours that are a bit more flipper like, um, that seem to have this stylized swirls of clouds or energy or something around them with these various sea creatures. Some look like whales, some look like squids, some look like serpents, kind of swirling more in a pattern motif around them. We believe that when they arrived to this island, it was barren, that had already been, well, that the society there had already been destroyed. At least that was M's hypothesis.
Mm,
They used this place as their laboratory. It was they who sealed the rift originally before Da-En tore it open again.
ugh,
Hanma herself, we think, may have been the first siren.
I, I see. What were they experimenting on? These sea creatures.
Kami,
Kami.
yes. There's evidence that these channels, there are these wide vaults. We think they were tanks here that may have once held Kami themselves.
I see. Huh. Interesting to note. Getting a little deja vu. Um, well, it's certainly fascinating. May I ask, why was executed? Did he do something?
His job here, he was an expert in Western necromancy, and he actually worked closely with the Grey Dama, at first at least, assisted her in refining techniques to make a more reliable means of undeath. And it worked, at least in part, able to create those who would surely return almost unchanged, fully cognizant of themselves.
Right.
But then he was put to work managing the Greys, preparing them who would delve into the rift to excavate it, to find the old secrets of Sliske the Shadow Dancer. As it turned out, he was using them as trackers, spies. He would modify them so he could see through them. We never knew exactly why, but Uafab, the first observer, she counseled caution. She has always favored an abundance of caution. Thus,
Right.
he was executed. The risk of this unaccounted for spy network was far greater than the benefits he could provide. To be honest with you, if I had followed her protocol, you likely would have had the same assessment.
Uh, I see. So she's so she suspected that he was using this network not only in the rift but outside of it.
We did not know the extent, but yes, it seemed that most of the Greys he had worked on, he could tap into them remotely, could see through them, feel through them.
But with him gone, are these is Osu going to be able to keep control of these greys? Keep
It was
control of
never exactly control. It was. They have their own will. Those for whom the process is less successful, that will is weaker, more susceptible, more in need of guidance. But it was never a form of outright mind control. They're not slaves.
Right, I see. But what I mean is, well, you've talked about how you're scared that the Grey Dama might be losing control over the crystal. Did Ed know about that? Did he help with it?
That I do not know.
Okay, I see. Well, I'm sorry. It sounds like you were relatively close to this,
Close as one gets in my position. I'm not certain I'd call him a friend, but we had a rapport. We
Right,
can leave it at that.
I see. Either way, though, we should probably move on. What's this? What's this atrium that you're talking about?
As you are asking this, you actually pass another wide kind of gate, this ruined portcullis, into a wider courtyard where you can see there is this very large greenhouse out in the center, which looks completely unlike a greenhouse you'd find in Perinthry.
Uh,
Um, but you can see that in this otherwise a sort of crumbling stonework that forms the pavers of this courtyard, within that tall, I mean, almost towering glass greenhouse, you can see that there are these trees. They look like cherry and orchid trees in full bloom, magnolias. Some of them, even from here, you can see seem like they have this odd radiance to them, this light shining out. And amidst them, there are these pink tents. It almost looks like this forest contained within this greenhouse.
do any of these trees look similar to the tree we saw in the Ashen Pale? Or that Fukuro saw? Wait, I wouldn't know that, would I?
I think you're just thinking of the trees at the Dracker Green, and you would have seen that. Um, Maybe a couple of them that are spaced out in there do kind of resemble that, but most of them, those were kind of these tall green, almost like an evergreen tree, and these look a lot more ornamental, probably a fair bit more delicate as well.
Right.
Um,
More for decoration, I suppose.
yeah, she says that is where the Queen Mother lives. Just needed to check this courtyard. Going to talk to the guards, make sure that they have a watch posted. We have a lot of ground to cover. You must understand that the Phantom Courts, they are sprawling, and at the best of times, most of it is unoccupied.
Of course. Only thing is, this sounds weird, but what are the chances that we would be able to talk to the Grey Dama or uh the Great Mother? Sorry, I forget if that's the
Yeah, this is the home of the Queen Mother,
Queen
and then the
Mother.
Grey
There we go.
Dama is elsewhere.
Yeah.
You wish to talk to the Queen Mother?
More just they should know that the threat of Changok is a possibility.
I will. I will see about that. She certainly would be more receptive to guests than most here. Give me a second. I just need to talk to the guards. And you see, she actually goes over to this stairway. Maybe you trail behind her a little bit, and you see this man come out, kind of broad chested, healthier looking than most you've seen here, but there is this slight grayish tint to his skin. She seems to give him a breakdown, and he says, "Well, I'm not sure how well we'll be able to do that. Oh, I mean, we're mainly here to guard the occupied parts of the courts. We'll have to spread out thin if we're going to do the perimeter. We're not sure what direction they're going to come from. Misa, you said you think it's most likely that he'll come by land.
Yes, that's what I suppose. That's why I assume it would have to be because of the mines.
Well, I can stage some extra guards on the southernmost battlements and have a few more doing circling the rounds, but this place is just too big. There are going to be gaps in coverage. I I mean, we can spread out all of our people and you'll have less gaps, or we can just have a few posted around the perimeter and really focus in on the south where you think they'll come from.
One other thing is have at least one person on the northern perimeter too. The only reason I say that is because, well, Chengok did attack uh, Haranu. Sorry, he did attack Haranu from the water, but I mean Haranu doesn't have mines around their manor, so
Yes, and there's not a proper dock here at Phantom Courts. No, it's going to be hard to access by sea.
mm-hmm.
Who are you again?
uh, Mizu no Hino.
Mizu no Hiro. All right, very good. I'm Kagawa. I lead the gunners in this sector.
Kagawa. Sorry, just writing it down. I look at him and say, pleased to meet your acquaintance. Yes, we're very sure that there might be some kind of an attack on the Phantom Courts. So, before any other help arrives, we need to have eyes all over the perimeter. And we do suspect that our enemy can teleport, but that's only one of them.
Hmm. All right. I'll set up a patrol, and I'll try to focus forces on the south and in the north.
High alert. Good.
Suboko takes you back down. You approach the greenhouse, and she stops out in front of it, and you can see there are these two little sensors out in front, along with another. This one much more immaculate. You're not sure if it's restored or if it's newly carved just to match another statue of a siren, kind of holding these two conch shells, and it looks like as if it would be pouring water from one into the other. It's sort of beautiful figure, almost life size. And Tsuboko, she lights the sensors on either side of this wide glass door, and she sort of gives this low bow till finally you see movement from within. And you see these two young looking women in these elaborate pink silk kimono, whose faces have been painted completely white except for a little line of black on their lips.
Oh,
I wish an audience with the Queen Mother. Have someone from Haranu who is eager to speak with her.
I also mimic her bow, just to be respectful.
They disappear within for a few minutes before finally coming back out, and she sort of gives this half a bow and gestures you inside without saying anything. As you step in, you are instantly assaulted by the fragrance, almost overwhelming, of all these flowers, of orchids, of honeysuckles, of jasmine and lavender. You can see that there are these sort of, it's been situated like this a fantasy garden, all of these little archways and little tables and little kind of just sitting areas made out of this elaborate looking figured lacquer. And you head towards what seems to be the largest of these pink silk tents, right towards the center. And right before you arrive, you see this woman emerges from within. She is short and a little bit plump. She has her dark hair heavily styled into this elaborate, somewhere between a geisha knot and a pompadour, with this dramatic white stripe right down the middle. Um, she is very heavily done up. She has heavy eye makeup. Uh, Honestly, a bit too much. But at the same time, her skin is smooth. Even though she looks older, she does not look old enough to be the mother of the Haranu family. You know that Osu would probably be around 40 right now, and she looks only a little bit older than that. But she emerges. She says, "Yes, I have a visitor."
Oh, y- yes, Niso no Hito. And I bow.
Oh, she has very good manners. Uh, Suboko. So tell me, what is this? It is so rare that we are able to get outsiders to receive outsiders here in the atrium. What is the occasion? Does the first observer know about this? Uh, I have sent some others to inform her, but we believe that there may be some danger coming to the Phantom Courts. Oh, danger. I guess it makes sense. You know, me and my daughter, my family, we've tried so hard for so long to do all we can for the people. And of course, there are those who will always want to turn against you, will always want to be be wicked when you could be loving, when you could be kind. What is this? Who is this that is going to attack? Is this someone from the people, from the Ashen Pale? Is this some kind of a revolutionary, some kind of a terrorist?
No, this is actually an outside force. I don't know if you're familiar with the name, but does someone named Chengok ring a bell?
Chengok? Of course, the name Chengok rings a bell. Oh, one of my best friends was Dana Chengok.
Uh, right. But do I know? Wait, what's Chengok's first name?
Wu.
Wu. But I think that the attacker that's assaulting your island is Wu Chengok. And currently he sent a fake fleet down to the straits in order to in order to distract you in order to distract your observers. And
Wu Chengok is attacking here. Little Wu Chengok. Are you certain about this?
he is not so little anymore. He he's incredibly powerful, and he attacked Haranu not too long ago, just a week.
Oh, I suppose he is not so little. You know, I knew him a little bit when he was a child.
Uh, did you?
Yes, his mother and I were friends. So you have been sent by Harano to warn us? Has
Yes.
Akira sent you?
Uh, here, no. Joni has sent me.
Oh, Joni has sent you.
Changok has uh staged an, an attack against Haranu, and yes, like you said, we are currently. You're currently. Sorry, I'm like freaking out. You're currently being attacked by Changok, and uh, I don't know if this is the best time to tell you this, but Akira,
As you were struggling over your words, you see that several more of these attendants come in. These, pink robed, white faced. They leave this tea set. One of them begins pouring it. One of them puts this small plate of different, very fancy looking confectionaries shaped like flowers and blossoms. Uh, One of them brings like a little embroidered towel and sort of offers it to you.
uh, thank you. She kind of like takes a towel, and just like, whew, takes a deep breath.
I can tell you have a lot on your mind, but that is no reason to dispense with with beauty.
Thank you very much for your generosity. to the matter at hand. I'm entirely certain that Changok is after. I look at Tsuboko, then back at her, and just say, I'm sure he's after the dark crystal.
I'm not sure that you know what you're saying, dearest.
No,
No, this Changok, if something has made him angry, well, we need to do is show him that this is beautiful here, and we only have love to show. And maybe he will turn back.
Oh, Queen Mother, if you may, he he's corrupted by 3 other shards. I'm sure he will not listen to any kind of reason like that. All he wants is the power of the crystal. He he attacked Haranu to capture Lu II because, well, I assume that he's using him to try to get the crystal down in Haranu, but the crystal in Haranu, she kind of like puts quotes around that uh, phrase, isn't in Haranu. And
You,
somehow he knows that it's here.
dearest, you say that Changok has done all of these things. But why has he done all this? What is his purpose? This sounds like a horrible place to be for him.
He's he's working with Cow in order to overtake Joe. I assume what he wants is complete and utter power, but I'm sure that just after interacting with just one of these shards, it's corrupted him to, well, be beyond reason.
Oh,
And
poor Wu. I did not know him well, but he was a troubled child, troubled about his parents, troubled about his sister. Maybe if he could only learn that there is something else. We, the the Haranus, never did it for power, only did it for duty and for love. If he wishes to rule, and he has to do it in that spirit.
but he won't. And if he gets this shard, he'll rule with an iron fist. Uh, if I may I speak to the Great Dama as well? I think it'd be important for her to hear of this information.
Tsuboko breaks in. You. I apologize, but I doubt you'll get an audience with the Grey Dama now.
Why is that?
The Grey Dama does not take counsel.
Huh? She, as in she's unavailable? There is an attack right now. Shouldn't she be made aware?
She will be made aware by the others, but I suppose we could try, but I strongly doubt that she will see you. She sees very few.
Well, Queen Mother. Uh, she's kind of like a little shaky of the breath, because it's never easy to tell someone this sort of news, but um,
Yes, what is it, dearest? Do you enjoy the tea?
I do. It's amazing. And
Yes, it comes from Asami. It is very good tea, but we like to keep things bright here and beautiful. Knowing this place exists, maybe it can be an inspiration to the others.
uh, i- yes, but let me tell you now, Changak, he he will not find beauty in this. He's oh, um, you know, your son Akira.
Yes?
I. Do you know of his health? Of what happened to him?
That he became a merchant.
He. She looks away and then looks back. He was slain at the hands of Chengak. Wu Chengak.
He was slain. And he
Yes.
is dead.
Yes. I'm incredibly sorry.
Are you certain of this?
I am. And Joni doesn't want to see the same happen to the Grey Dama.
That he people that would be jealous of the beauty we bring into the world, that would turn on us, destroy us. You said he has these powers. What powers does he have?
He can teleport. He has a sword bound to his arm that he could command at will. He he's incredibly powerful. He has these kind of necromantic powers, something like that. But he's incredibly powerful. He raided uh, Haranu Manor and almost killed Joni before escaping with Lu II. And all it took was him and a group of rebel vanguard.
I think I think you should leave. I am sorry, my dearest, but I believe I need some time on my own.
Uh, I understand. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have. Uh, just be aware that this attack is happening now and that we're all in danger.
This is it. And she's not like crying or weeping. She just looks blank, kind of hollow, and suddenly much older as she's slumping in her fancy lacquer chair.
I.
Suboko takes your elbow. Perhaps we should leave the Queen Mother.
Uh, you're probably right. Please be well.
No response as more of these pink attendants flank you. Is that true? That the Grey Doma's brother has been killed by this man?
Uh, it is.
Well, that's certainly a way to bury the lead, isn't it?
What do you mean by that?
I you told me about all these risks he posed that I had to squeeze out of you, and you did not even mention that to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, this is Suboko, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I probably should have mentioned that earlier. It's just the Queen Mother mentioned Akira and, you know. Yes, this man, though, I'm telling you, he's incredibly powerful. He's been teleporting around all the Wushankos. My uh, fellow Vanguard tell me that he even has a list.
Uh, what do you mean, a list?
A list of names that. A list of names of people that he wants to kill. And, well, wait, just double checking. Osu's on that list, correct?
Um, Well, it was a list that just had a bunch of initials,
Right.
and I don't think you saw ones that matched Osu's.
Okay, interesting. Uh, he has a list and he's already killed a handful of people apparently. Uh, none of the none of the initials looked like the Great Dama's, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to kill her for the crystal.
At this point, I don't know if it would be better to try to tell the Grey Dama of all of this, or to keep her in the dark and keep her from. Honestly, I have no idea how she would react to this.
To Akira. Well, I'm such a fool. Maybe I shouldn't have brought Akira up. Um, she does need a clear head for this. Maybe we should avoid talking about it? Or do you think that will be the only way she'll even take counsel?
You're here now. I suspect we'll get word from the first observer soon enough on what her plans are for you and for our defense here. She should have stayed here at the castle. By now, word has reached her. She usually positions herself outside the central chambers, directly in counsel to the Grey Dama. For now, I suppose all we can do is post ourselves around, rely on the guard's perimeter, and wait. And hope that we get some useful news back once the next shoreliner train comes in.
Right. This, the first observer, she. Can she fight? Is she powerful?
Indeed, she is the most skilled of our order. Even before the catastrophe, she had begun to understand the arcane, the eldritch, had begun to plumb the mysteries of the rift more than any of us.
I see. Well then. Well, you said that word of Changok probably reached her at this point, correct?
Most likely, if the ones we came here with did their job.
Okay. Well, it's good to know that she's aware. Alright. I think we should do what you said. We'll keep an eye out and hopefully hopefully we spot him first.
So, I assume that you're staying close to Suboko.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm going to give you a few options as they're kind of seem to be spreading out, unsure what direction where this attack will come from. So, do you think you may be staying with Suboko closer the to the south, near the kind of near the train and near the southern entrance to this place where a lot of the gunners are concentrating? Do you think more up to the north, where there are a lot more of these sort of ruined towers, where it's a little bit more derelict, but where it's also closest to the ocean, closer to the atrium where the Queen Mother is, or closer to the central palace where the Grey Dama is?
Um, I would say probably closer to the center palace where the Great Dama is. Cause like, I mean, here's the thing. Uh, I think she would ask Suboko. Um, so this crystal, where do you think it is?
I don't really know. Only the Queen Mother knows for certain, and that is only if we can rely on all the words of the Grey Dama.
If I don't know if we ask her now if she'll be able to respond. Give give a guess. You've been here all your life, correct? Where do you think someone Where do you think she would hide something like that? Maybe not in her personal quarters, but do you have a vault?
There are many places to hide things. I have to understand this place was built and rebuilt and rebuilt. There are vaults that we've still never discovered that were built by the Skethic. There are chambers and channels and pens and zoos built by the Sirens. There are battlements and war rooms built by the Chimera.
All right. Well, I think our best option is to stay close to the Grey Dama. So let's let's stay around the what did you call it? The center
Uh, Sort of the Central Palace. That's
central
where the
palace.
Great Dama is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, central palace.
So you approach that part of the Phantom Courts, and you can see there are these lower but sturdier walls around this otherwise fairly barren courtyard, but in the center, this really monolithic building. It looks newer than most of the construction you've seen here, and it is there's no other word for it. It's ugly. It has these immense flying buttresses that are just these unadorned gray cubes. The whole thing is this large, kind of brutalist box with this just a flat square overhang on it. You know, it looks more like someone lifted a bunker out of the ground than it does like any sort of an elaborate palace.
Right.
Position yourself on the walls around here. You look around, you can see at 4 points there are more of these guards. You see most of them, they do appear to be grays, but without masks, without wrappings, looking essentially just like regular people, except for a little bit of a tinge to their skin, similarly to the guard captain Kagawa that you met earlier. As you position yourself there, you wait and wait. You can see those clouds in the sky grow darker, and occasionally you hear these screeches as you see that there are these sort of swarms, flocks of these bat-like creatures that you put together are actually blade wings that sort of appear and disappear out of the patch of sky that you can see from here. This is what I hate the most.
The calm before the storm.
Just the uncertainty, the dread. I've heard enough from you that I don't think you're lying, though I also don't think you're telling me absolutely everything of the truth, but I don't even know if he'll actually show up here, if it'll be an army, if it'll be just him, if it'll be no one at all, if it'll all be a ruse or a false flag or a. Just don't know.
I I understand your concern. I'm I don't know if there's anything I could really say to make you fully believe me, but uh, all I know is, well, the Great Dama is absolutely in danger, and not only that, but all the Ushankos are essentially in danger. If we lose here, if we let Chengok get what he's after, we're everyone is screwed. There's no better way of saying it. I I just hope there's no surprises. I just hope that Chengok is spotted before, well, so, is spotted somewhere. We can prepare. We can get him. At least stop him until we can move the crystal, move the Great Dama and the Queen Mother. Something.
At this point, it's been an hour since you've been here. You suddenly hear the clanging of this bell. Not an especially loud bell, not like a big gong, but almost like someone ringing a handbell. You can hear it coming closer. You see a figure, dark figure on the other side of the courtyard running very fast. It takes you a second before you realize the mask and the horns. This is another observer. You hear her calling out, "Next train has arrived! Next train has arrived! Developments at the stacks!"
Oh.
Tsuboko takes one great leap off of the side of the battlement and does sort of a superhero landing as you rush for the stairs. As you come rushing down to get more of this in earshot, here. They've started attacking. It looks like they're flying the flag of Haranu, but then only some of them started attacking. Then they pulled back, and then more of them started heading down the coast. It looked like they were heading for the matchbanks. We've tried to get in contact with the Grey Ji-Changs, but we haven't been able to. We're not sure where they are on their mission. It doesn't look like we'll have naval support. Plus, the beacon started up again. We don't know what the original what's going on with the beacons, but it looks like they originated from down in the Ashen Pale near the Draca Green.
What? Wait, they're actually attacking the stacks?
Yes, flying the flag of Haranu. Oh, Tsuboko, where did you say that this one was from? Look, she is the one who came here. I'm using the wrong voice. Look, she is the one who came here and who warned us about this. No. They're flying the flag of Haranu. They're attacking. They're moving on the stacks, moving on the matchbanks. We need to incapacitate her again. We need to take her to the first observer.
Wait, you saw people fighting at the stacks. Are you sure? You're absolutely sure?
The ship opened fire, cannons, before it pulled back again, before we could mount our own artillery.
Damn it! Listen, that's not Haranu, though. That's the Rebel Vanguard. It's,
Look, Mizu, I'm not sure what's going on, but we need to... I don't know if it makes more sense to divert more of our forces that are here to the stacks or to just firm up the bulwark we have here. No, what we need to do is take this one into custody, question her for all we know before she can... Who knows what kind of back door she's opening for them?
I'm not opening any back door. I'm telling you, the goal of their attack is this Phantom Court.
At this, you see another one of these figures bounding across this open courtyard, right up to you. It says, "You recognize the voice as one of those ones that you came here with," and she says, "Tsuboko, I need you to hand over the prisoner. We need to interrogate her. Time is of the essence."
I told you everything I know.
Look, and Tsuboko continues, she has given us all the information we have to go on. She has personal information about the Haranu family. She is the only one who has given us anything like an insight into this.
Can I... Okay, I have a quick question. Yeah, can I roll insight on the possibility of, like, here's the thing, she was close to M. So I don't know if that means that she's the only real observer that knows about the crystal, or if every observer would know about the crystal. Can I roll, like, insight on that?
I think you put together from context clues, like the crystal was sort of part of their training, that all of them would probably know at least something about it.
Yes, I know of the crystal. I know of the... of Changok. I know of... I'm telling you the truth. That I wouldn't...
Go ahead, and because Tsuboko is helping you, roll persuasion with advantage.
Gonna be nice to me this time? Persuasion? Okay, maybe not.
And you see yet another observer coming, and she advises you, Suboko. That's a horrible voice for that,
Mhm.
but it's the voice I'm going to go with. Suboko, stand down. You let this outsider get far enough. Now we need to extract whatever we can out of her, whatever is useful.
I've told you everything useful. Ugh! I don't know what to say to get you to believe me.
He takes out this metal band and wraps it in one motion around your wrists. Spoko's shoulders slump, looking defeated.
Suboko,
She's seems to be listening to you, but she doesn't respond.
uh, I don't know if they're planning a slow attack, like they're going for the straights at first, and then they're going to slowly come up. But mm, well, at least keep vision on the south. It sounds like they're coming from the south. She's like getting a little desperate at this point.
I don't know. There's. You said the stacks was the distraction, but it looks like they're attacking the match banks and there's some activity going on in the Ashen Pale. I don't know how we can spread our forces that thin. You hear a little bit of regret in her voice as she says, Good luck, Mizu.
Uh, I just I look at the other observers and I say, you can distract any information you want from me. You're just gonna learn everything that I've been telling you.
So, as you are dragged off by them, you're taken away from this part of the courts. Down through these stone layers, you quickly lose track of these bits of weathered masonry, these uh, kind of grim faces rendered of chimera, of sea monsters, of these lizard people, till you finally find yourself in this dungeon. No natural light, just a little bit of a glow from this glass orb in one corner. For the next half hour, maybe 45 minutes, you are interrogated, put through this gauntlet. Uh,
No.
do you think that Muso-Ka is going to say anything in particular, follow any tack to try to convince them, or no?
Um, man, I'm trying to think. I would probably, you know what? I'll probably tell them what I told the Queen Mother of Akira Haranu. I would tell them. I would tell them that Joni sent me, and that Chengok is like they're they call themselves the Rebel Vanguard. Is that what they call themselves? Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or the Red Vanguard.
the Red Vanguard. There we go. And that's why the Haranu flags look like that. Um, I would just throughout the entire thing, she's just spewing information about Chengok. Listen, he knows how to teleport people. He, um, I'm just trying to think if there's anything I can say other than all of that. But I've erased all of that, so I don't think I
Yeah,
just gotta kill it.
yeah. So you do your best over this long, grueling interrogation. Different people, usually one at a time, come in to talk to you, and they have this thing where they'll sort of whack you on the back of your head, and they just have this air about them as they do it that you regularly find yourself subject to this abject horror that as they wham the back of your head and you feel it slam down onto the table you're sitting at, uh, you can't help but shiver, feel as if your life is ending, as if it can end at any second. Even though that never lasts for longer than a couple of minutes, it is grueling. over the course of this interrogation, Muso-Ka, 40 minutes later, you are bruised. Your lip is bleeding. You've fingers are raw from where you've dug them into the table. You've taken 16 points of damage.
Ooh. Okay. Alright, let me log that down. Yikes. Um. Damn. I'm trying to think. Can I roll something to try to like? I'm trying to think of like actual strategies that they've used. Like, can I tell them? Like, can I tell them like painstaking detail like how the Haranu raid took place, and like how,
Sure.
yeah, like how possibly that can help them in their endeavor because like they know this sort of information that like about the raid that they wouldn't have prior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this because there was a political aspect to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you roll politics to see how well you're able to explain sort of the tactics used in the Hirono raid.
Oh, sorry, 16. I don't know why that was advantage. Hello.
16. It seems like during the end of this, towards the end of this 40 minutes, where you finish going over in painstaking detail the boats, the distractions, the sort of false flags, the strike force, and it resonates a little bit with this last observer who you're talking to. When you hear shouts from off to the other side, down the hall, I say, unrest! The Queen Mother's atrium! Wait, what do you mean unrest the Queen Mother's atrium? I don't know, there are figures there, invaders! Invaders in the atrium! How'd they get so far in? We don't know. They're massing. It's the pink gray are trying to hold them off, but we need all hands right there.
He can teleport! She just yells this out.
And she looks back towards you, back towards them, back towards you. Make one more persuasion or performance with advantage.
Let's go!
I'm looking for a.
Come on, bro! You gotta be kidding me!
Yeah. She looks towards you and then just darts out of here and down the hallway, leaving you alone in there.
Hey, you can't just leave me here! She looked. I don't. You want to say something else, or?
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I just wanted to look at my bonds. Like how? Like is this rope? Is this metal? How are we looking?
It looks like this silvery band of metal that is keeping your wrists together, and I think they also would have fitted something like a gag around your mouth when you're not talking.
Right.
So, you know, you probably can't use verbal or somatic components at
Right.
this moment. If you got something else, maybe.
Is Ray of Frost? Okay, here's the thing. I have. Can I try to use Ray of Frost to freeze the bonds around my hands?
Yeah, the
I mean,
bonds look like they're metal.
they are metal, but would the frost be able to like make it so cold that I could break it?
Yeah, it's
Or is that not really?
unfortunately because your hands are bound and because you've got kind of a gag in your mouth, you can't use verbal or somatic components right now. So you wouldn't be able to cast this anyways.
Oh wow, okay. Honestly, I don't know what a verbal and what's not. Damn. So
Yeah, components VS.
BS. Screw you, Gygax. Oh, this is bad,
So,
right?
Muso-Ka, as you are down here in this dungeon, unsure what will happen to you, but hearing off in the distance the sounds of some kind of a conflict beginning to erupt, you think you can barely pick up some other sound, almost as if it's down this hallway and a couple more twists down. Of sounds like a thump and then a psh, sounds like wood splintering, and then a splash. It's distant, it's faint, but you can hear it. You think whatever created that will probably end up having to pass right by your dungeon. And with that, I think we've done the little Muso-Ka time skip.